This is another game for Dectalon's Hard Games thread. It's another game I grew up with, very near and dear to my heart. That's a very cool move, but those throwing stars weren't even going towards you. I have a letter here from Sega's attorney saying that that is not a picture of Sonny Chiba that Sega stole and put a ninja mask over from one of his movies. So, and even if it were, it was changed in Revision 4, so thank you, Sega, for clearing that up. We have this awesome intro where we're telling an old man a story, transcribed in text here. 19XX, the first Shinobi game took place, and we destroyed an evil corporation army, the organization thing named Zed. But Zed's too tough to keep down, and after some corporate restructuring, and they rebranded themselves as Neo-Zed. Their new mission statement was going to destroy the threat posed by those who possess the powers of stealth. They did a thing called a SWOT matrix, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And the big threats were ninjas, they determined. So, in order to facilitate that goal, they acquire the main ninja, Joe Musashi's fiancée, Naoko, kill his clan, and now he's out for revenge. In Japan, this game was called the Super Shinobi, which is ridiculous. This is clearly the Revenge of Shinobi. Maybe playing on hardest difficulty with no shurikens? It was like webkins? Alright. This isn't going to be anything too crazy. I'm not going to do a no-hit run or a no-shuriken run. In fact, it would be really annoying to play this game without projectiles, but we at least start with 0. We have a little melee attack, which takes out enemy projectiles, fortunately. See, the good thing about a SWAT matrix is if you see ninjas as a threat, you should also try to move them into the opportunities category, and as such, this wing of Neo-Zed is built all around feudal Japan, even though it is the year 19XDX or sometime afterwards. So we have ninjas and samurai, but they're not doing too great. We have a pretty ballsy choice of wardrobe here. We chose for white, which is Joe Musashi just says to hell with stealth. I'm ready to just kill everything. And they went with the pea green ninja outfit, which I guess is good if you're trying to camouflage yourself in swamp water. I think the samurai guys are just lower level employees. They don't really do much. The enemy AI in this game is great, besides spawning right in your face like that. If you duck, they'll duck too, and if you duck, the samurais will block lower. You cannot exploit that whatsoever. I'm lying, of course you can. Welcome to Stage 1-2, the House of Confusion. According to Wikipedia, we're in the Ibakari prefecture of Japan, I suppose. You say so, Sega. As you see from these crates, the Neo-Zed was importing and exporting and shipping a lot of power-ups. And also bombs. You have to be careful. Some of these crates have bombs that you have to walk away from. But sometimes you'll get a 1-up, which is nice. So that's my first extra life of the game, as you can see in the upper right. Earlier I acquired a POW power-up. Now I can block projectiles by walking forward and holding my shurikens out in front of my face. Everyone throws it right toward them. So it works out fine. In a stunning move, we don't just side-scroll to the right, we also have a little vertical movement. Now we have to go back left for this trapdoor I opened with those pressure-activated plates. No wonder it's called the House of Confusion. There's some bamboo spikes just because the person who made this pagoda was kind of a dick. I like that our ninja is named Joe Musashi. It makes me think that maybe he's an Italian ninja, possibly from New Jersey. Perhaps the House of Confusion is built by his friend, Rako Takahashi. Maybe his sword was forged by Hattori Hanzo, aka the Gooch. It might look like I got hit there, but I actually sorta did. If you notice, it didn't take off any health and it didn't remove my power-up. Touching enemies is kind of weird that way. A projectile absolutely would have removed my power-up and I'd go back to being plain old Joe Musashi without a blocking ability and a big sword. But typically just touching a guy will knock you back. It depends on the enemy, of course. I imagine those dogs is probably much worse, but they're your least threat. And don't feel bad about them, they explode, so they're clearly robot dogs. As you can see here, I'm taking a save state, and I'll show you why in a minute. We're about to fight our first boss. And he's actually called Blue Lobster. He has a really tough pattern. This is a very hard boss. Alright, he's a little trickier than he looks, because the hitbox you have to hit him on is actually pretty small. Well, I swear this game gets a lot harder, okay? Now, why did I take that save state? Because I wanted to show you something I'd been wondering for a while. What I was always wondering is, can you kill this guy without shurikens? Well, the game gives you 5 for certain bosses if you don't have any, and that's not enough to kill him anyway, but I threw him away regardless. So doing this just melee, it's a little tricky because his sword hitbox is pretty enormous. But that's how you do it, more or less. He's got a slow recoil. Not that slow. This is kind of tricky to do. You really need to do the somersault move. It's sort of a double jump where you press jump again at the height of your jump. The timing's a little tricky on it, actually. And more often than not, I've died trying to do a double jump. I got a little greedy there going for 2 sword swings, but I didn't get punished for it. The POW power-up also acts as kind of a shield. If you have it and you take a hit, you won't lose energy, you just lose the power-up. Regardless, though, he takes about half health off if he hits you. And there I got greedy. So I lost my POW power-up, and now I've just got a regular old standard knife to stab with. We can't throw it because it is Joe Musashi's lucky knife. Alright. That didn't go well. So, we're going to use our ninja magic. This is the Jitsu of Ikazuchi, which my Japanese says is Way of the Squid Exit. It's basically a force field. You don't get knocked back if you get hit. And I didn't need it anyway, so who cares? That's stage 1.